Good morning everyone, welcome to my channel. So I'm back working on my crazy patchworking, crazy quilting, sorry, is the technical name I guess. I just wanted to come in at this stage because I've got my needle threaded with my purple here and I'm doing these little roses. But as you can see, I have done a few different techniques through building the foliage. I want to work back through that with you as I creep up here. So I thought, let's just show you these fancy little roses that I'm really enjoying doing. And then I'll sort of work back from there. Now, I've sort of done lots of different things in this. Let me just bring it up close first. I've done a big stem stitch through the main stalk of it, so the biggest part of my branch, and that there I'll show you later is a Portuguese stem stitch. Really cool way of doing stem stitch. Then we've got the feather stitch here and down here. Then I've done some stab stitch on normal stem stitch to get these finer little bits out. Over here I've done a similar thing, but then I've put the ribbon embroidery leaves on it, which I'm not going to do over here. So I'm sort of mixing it all up a bit to sort of create a little bit of interest. So this is the weirdest plant on the planet as it changes through its different, foliages. Up here I've put some lazy daisy in amongst the ribbon embroidery. And I'm now working on the flowers. Now, technically, if I was going to do a rose, I would work with a wider ribbon, but I've got this little lilac-y one, so I thought, oh, I'll just try it. And I really like these little cluster roses. Now, what's the technical name for them? Technically, I can't remember. Might come to me as I do it. We'll just call them ribbon roses. They're not grub roses. So what I'm doing is I've brought my needle up through and I'm just sort of with my eye working on about an inch worth of length. I might just zoom in. I just looked up at my TV and it's probably a little bit hard to see. And I'm going to put the needle in and just weave the needle through and do a slight zigzag as I go. Oh, I'm all thumbs. Trying to do it on the narrow ribbon is difficult. And then when you come out the bottom, you go back in near where you were and pull gently your ribbon through your little rose. So it's like concertinas it up, creating this little cluster rose. Aren't they just the sweetest? Now I'll put one up here and show you again. So you bring your ribbon up through, resting it on your fingers, pick up about an inch out and just gently scoot down the ribbon. Little bit of a zigzaggy motion makes it look interesting. And when you come out, get ready to go back down. So now you've stacked your needle with all of that ribbon and then pull it through. These little guys are in Jennifer's book, so if you do have the book you should be able to find them in there. So that's a gorgeous little dainty rose. Now if we were to change to a thicker ribbon, and I'm just grabbing some of my wider, maybe we go a more pink. Let's mix it up a little bit. Yeah, let's try this one. Now I probably will need a bigger needle. Now I don't have my hair straightener here because I would run the hair straightener down the ribbon just to get rid of any kinks. Just gently running that hair straightener through, but it's not with me at the moment. So unfortunately, we'll just have to pretend I've done that. Now I'm looking for a needle that has a bigger eye so it's not so harsh on my ribbon. I'll Gosh, don't tell me I don't have one in there. What's this guy? Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Where is my U-Butte needle book that has potentially everything in it that I would need? Right behind me. Let's have a little look in here. I'm just looking for, I better zoom back out for a moment, otherwise you can't see anything. So I'm looking for quite a wide needle to take that ribbon. Oh, that's a huge point, but you probably would do. I think that's got a tapestry needle. Like that one would work, but it's going to make a massive hole in the ribbon. So I'll try that one. Might be too narrow, but we'll give it a go. Okay. And we'll do a little knot at the top to help it stay on. Well, not a knot, you sort of just push the needle back through itself, and then we'll do a soft knot at the other end. It just gives it a little knot down the end there, ready to go. Okay, now what we might do, where can we put the big guys? Might do one there. We'll see if this needle allows me to do what I need to do. Oop, pulled it right through. My soft knot didn't hold, but I did give it a bit of a reef, so one needs to be a little bit more gentle. So same principle. You can see how it's a little bit easier to do with a wider ribbon. I think I do recall Jennifer saying that when she's doing flowers, she likes the 7mm ribbon, and when she's doing leaves, she tends to stay. You see how it's stacked? It's woven through. You can hear fudgy. So now, hopefully, I can pull it through. And there is another flower for our little piece. As simple as that. They're so fun, these little roses. So let's do another one. I'll probably get 3 maybe out of this. So once again, just weaving down. And then when you come through the bottom, you're just pulling gently everything through. They're nearly like a little carnation. They're so sweet. Might put one out here on this tip next. So really is just me meandering around this branch, adding some little floralettes or little roses. They sort of remind me of those English roses, those climbing roses. Very lacy than say a traditional rose. There we go. So there's another one out there. They're so cute. I definitely get another one out of this. So let's maybe pop him down here. It's a great sampler. I think I'll get one more out of this, because you can try so many different things in all of the different spots, but do keep a thought towards composition. You don't want it starting to look like the 80s and the hairsprays come out. So I've finished off that. I can't get any more out of that little piece of ribbon. So what we'll do is we'll just lay it flat. I have a needle here threaded with a bit of cotton, and I'm just going to put a few little stitches in the back of it just to hold that. Just a few little slip stitches. And that's not going to pull out then. Okay. All right, so that's my cute little rose. And I still have some ribbon left here that I can do a few more. So I might even, actually, I don't think I need any more here. That's enough. What I might do is actually end that off as well, so then I can take the ribbon somewhere else and do a few little clusters. So let's just do a few little stitches. I think there was a little bit of green left, so I might show you those little leaves next. They're probably the simplest thing. Like I said, I'm sort of working back from the flowers. So let's, where did I put that little bit of ribbon? Don't tell me I left it on the side of the couch. Probably did. That's all right. We'll just get ourselves another little bit. I don't need much because I sort of did probably as many as I'd like, but we might pop a few in here. Let's not be too stingy. Now once again, that ironed out would be preferable, those little creases, but we're not entering this in the royal show, so there's not going to be my grandmother the judge looking at the work and making comment on it. So yeah, we can get away with a little bit of naughtiness, can't we? So if you're a purist out there with ribbon embroidery, wow, it's a real skill. If you do a lot of this, congratulations. I'm fairly new to it, but I do like it. So what I'm going to do is just start popping in a few leaves to soften this little branch here. So I'm just going to come up. Oh, I forget how long my ribbon is, and because I'm giving it a little pull to get it through, I tend to pull it right through. So let's just get our ribbon looking nice by pushing the needle under there a little bit and piercing the top of it, pulling the thread through like so. Nice and simple. So let's do another one. Might as well stay roughly in that area, then we aren't using too much ribbon, getting bang for our buck. And if there's anything I can recommend, which is what I picked up from working those couple lessons with Jennifer, is keep it random. We get too comfortable in threading our needle and then away we go. And before we know it, we've completed the task. If there's anything, you know, change it up a little bit, make it look interesting. See, my instinct in the old days would have been to put another leaf here on that end, but I'm actually going to have it just coming out here. It just will help soften the image of the leaf. You're starting to get a little bit of dimension about your work. You see that? Now I might scoot over here and add a little bit of leaf magic to this rose. I've got probably enough ribbon to do two. So we might put one coming up slightly behind it and then one coming up maybe a little bit below it. Now, will I get a third little leaf? Maybe. Where will I put it? Might just bring it up here. It's going to be tight. Look, I'm probably being too stingy. But ribbons are so not cheap that you sort of want to get as much as you can out of them. You see, just scattering little bits and pieces. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a fine green thread, maybe go to stranded cotton. I'm just going to stitch this little guy down so he goes nowhere. I wonder, I just had an idea. Just thinking. Just thinking. Okay. So I've still got my purple and it's attached. Oh yes, I can detach that. So when I go back to doing some flowers, I'll probably pop a few little purples in amongst it, a few more of those pinks. So we'll treat it as if the purple is the bud, and when it finally comes out in flower, it's the pink. So it'll all sort of mesh together. But it's still very coarse for my liking. So I'm going to go to my stranded cottons. I think I'll just stick with a similar colour, and I'm just going to grab one thread. I know you're thinking that's going to not go far, being one thread. So used to using two in all my embroidery. But what I want to do, it's not really the right needle, but it will suffice, is I want to come back through these areas, I get the camera right, and put in some little wispy sprays like that. Just little itty bitty stitches. They can come out from behind that. And what that starts to do is make it look a little bit more sticky. At the moment it feels quite, what's the word, chunky with these big stitches. That little leaf is out on his own, so I'm just going to put a little stitch in there to join him. I'm going to put another one out here. Now you can be very creative with all this, and you could even do a pistol stitch, which I might even do somewhere else, where you do a knot at the end of them. So you're just starting to get that more whimsical look to your piece. Working your way down. Try not to repeat the same little recipe. Try and stay. See, now I can bring another little one into that joint. So it just sort of adds just more detail. I haven't even got all the flowers in. I'm sort of doing a little bit cack-handed by doing, you know, bits and pieces. You should sort of finish your one stitch and then away you go again. So let's turn the work around, see what we can do. Let's get a little stitch up in there. See a couple leaves coming out from that. Rose will help soften him. At the moment he's sort of sitting out there in no man's land, so I might just stay away from him and work my way back up, because I sort of need those ribbon leaves in next. So I'm just going to, whoops, come back up to that. Oh, I've gone through the ribbon. Hold the horses, hold the horses. Yep. Oh, Okay, by going through the ribbon and pulling it out, I've actually damaged the integrity of the stranded cottons. So we will trim and finish that off. I might even go back a bit. Didn't like scooting through that ribbon. It really roughed up the fibres. So then when I went back through the calico, it failed. So let's just... You know what I think it is too? That needle is a really nasty, cheap needle. And I think inside the eye, it was a bit rough. So to hold the ribbon, probably just okay, because you're knotting it at that needle point at the top there and it's not going anywhere. But when you've got a little thread like this guy who's slipping and sliding through, you know, through the work, or through the needle, you're sort of, yeah, asking for trouble. I feel like I could do even a lighter bud or something. Let's just do it. Let's have a play. This rose is a really interesting rose bush, isn't it? Just threading this needle, running it through on itself to get me that little fastened off end. Come on, through you come. There we go. So let's do a little rose here. Oh, didn't put the knot in the end. Ah, gee. See, I get so excited about doing the stitch that I forget to knot the... You've probably noticed. You've probably noticed my style, my technique. It's like the brain is going so fast that I forget to walk, but I already know I'm down the road and across, and I've bought an ice cream and it tastes great and I'm heading back home, but I haven't even left the front yard and I've forgotten to take a step. There we go. So we've got now a transitioning coloured rose there. We could probably even have a play with a little bud. Why not? So what I might do with that is we'll do, because it's wider, we'll do the same stitch as the, yep, there we go. Oh, you can't even see it. It is there, trust me. So those little sticks that we put on are now turning into little bud points, as well as little roses. So it just starts to get really interesting the more layers you do. We'll do another one coming out the top of that tuft. That'll give the point of that branch a reason. It's got this little bud. And what I might do is I'm going to sneak another little flower in here, like the cluster. There we go. It's really starting to look playful and whimsical now. I might do one more here. Gosh, you could just spend hours adding to your flowers and your leaves and your twigs. And because what we're going to do next, so we've got this whole thick up the branch thing happening. So I've got a bit more ribbon left, so I might as well use it. I'm going to scoot over here, and I think I could get a bud out. Let's just turn that around. Take your time, girl. Yep, we got a bud. All right. And I'm just going to secure that with that couple little stitches. And then we're going to add some beads. You could add beads, you can add French knots, you could put some more twigs in. You can just really go for it, which I think you've gathered. Okay, got plenty of time, that's good. I still want to get to that stem stitch. So each of my branches is going to be a something. So it's going to just make it more, you know, interesting. If this color combination sits here, and I think I'll do these little guys up here. I might leave that with some beads or something. Who knows? It really is a case of playing with it. So what could we do next? Just having a look through the old favorites. I wonder if we could add a few of these little sequins. Let's have a look. Where did it go? Where did it go? There it is. Yeah, definitely. So let's just pop a few out. These are like a harlequin-y, sparkly little guy. So what we might do is find a stranded cotton, maybe. I don't want to lose the color of the sequin. So I'm thinking if I did go with that, where's that stranded cotton? Stick with this green. So if you start bringing in too much color variation too, you can sort of lose your way. Or you lose the integrity of what you're trying to do. So let's do, we'll come up there. And I'll just secure myself and my thread before we pick up the little sequin, which just shot off into the distance. So you can do this with beads too. So there's our little sequin, and now I'm going to do a colonial knot and take that little sequin down with that knot, and hopefully it's thick enough to hold it, which it is. So I'm just going to scatter some little green sequins. Now I've gone with really small sequins, but at the end of the day, it's up to you. It's your piece. You might start with the sequins as being the foundation to your flowers too. You know, there's no reason why your sequins can't be your actual flowers, some of the bigger faceted ones. So I'm just going to probably scoot up there. No rhyme or reason, just a little bit of sparkle. And you know me, the piece comes alive when the beads go on. Put one more that was out on. There we go. It's interesting when you've got the one flower or the one branch and yet it contains so many little details. I just think that is just the best. I said recently on a video that if only I knew this when I was a kid doing doilies and things, because it was just so monotonous. Good old lazy daisy and blanket stitch. You know, if we could have had access to the thought of using more different varied things. Now, because I've got that same thread as my little sticks and I'm up here and I've just put the sequin in, I'm just going to do, oh, here's a little Y stitch. Not a Y stitch. What would you call it? I'm sure there's a name where you couch it over so it gives it a kinked look. So you do another one, nice big stitch, and then you bring your needle up just to the side of it and pull it over, and it gives you a bit of a little kink, and then you can go again. So you see how you can just head off on a different direction. So we've just added a little detail to the top of that branch. Now what we might do, so I'm going to bring my needle up here and my thread's running out, and I'm just going to pop a sequin in with a little colonial knot. I swear it's taken me 6 months just to get the colonial knot and the French knot straight. And then suddenly you go and learn something else. So I might now just do another little branch out here. See how it just meanders along? And then we might drop a little flower in there. Let's do that. Gosh, we could make heaps of videos just out of this piece, but we won't. I do need to, you know, keep it moving along. So where was that little leftover bit of ribbon? Because I think there's probably one little, just getting my little knot at the end, and we'll put the rose there, I think. And one little rose. There he is. See? Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Now I'm just going to use the ribbon to pin myself down there. That's not going to go anywhere. Because it's so fine, you can do that because it's not going to create a heap of bulk. Okay, so I feel like I need something else. I wonder what these would look like. I haven't used these before. They would put a different perspective on it. They're little odd sequiny things. No, you can't see them. They're not seen on the background, so we'll forget about that. What else have we got? Let's have a look in this. Beads. I'd like to do some little beads in around they might work. Oh, goodness me. Everyone's out walking. So Pepper and Bandit just met in the middle of the patio and was like, we've got to go this way. And Bandit's saying, no, we've got to go this way. They're over here. And she's like saying, no, back over here. Oh, okay. And then they took off. Here they are, back again. Crazy. Crazy, crazy puppies. All right, so what I'm going to do now to soften this side over here a little bit more and get a little bit of sparkle is I'm going to just put in, which I won't be able to use this needle now that I actually stop for a moment talking about the doggies. Let's get Reginald. And put in a thread on the wrong side, some seed beads. Just a couple here and there. Go through your little bead twice. Do as I say, not as I do, just in case I forget. So I've got another little point here. So on some of these little twiggy bits, and remember we haven't really put enough twiggy bits in yet because we're doing bits and pieces all over the place. Just pop a little bead. Pop another one in here. It's all these little details that soften the work. So when you think you're done, think of something else that's really small that could go in through your work again, and that's when it starts to really come alive. I find it is the same with decorating the Christmas trees at work. When you think you're done, just find some other little element to add and it can really change. Now those little beads don't have to be on the twigs, they can be just along the stem. Who's to say that the little twig's not there and we just can't see it? So we've got two sprays that are highly decorated, where the rest is still green. So I guess the next question is, what do we do on the others? Now, I don't know, I'm sort of feeling like that needs to stay as it is, but I might add some twigs, but nothing more than that. The feather stitch pieces, they could probably have a little bit more fancy work done to them. This guy, and that guy. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to finish these two, then have a look at the piece before I commit to scooting off somewhere else, because what you'll end up doing is you will make a hang of a mess of it because you didn't stay and finish where you were. So you start to change the composition of the piece. I might just sneak that down to there. I better go and just see what those dogs are doing because there's a lot of woofing. I'll be back, guys. Hi guys, it's me. I'm back. Turned out it wasn't mine. There's a gentleman walking down the street with two dogs, and one of the neighbours' dogs had a good woofing. I'd say my two were there at the beginning of it, and everything just blew up. The man's two dogs started fighting each other. So I don't know. He got him under the control really well. So whether it's a bit of a thing that happens with his dogs, I don't know. I thought it was my two, but it wasn't. It was some walkers. Well, I could only see one man, so I don't know whether there was a second person there with another dog, making three. I'm not sure. So there you go. I could have sworn it was in my yard, but the way the sound was travelling, I thought my two were up to no good. But they are innocent at this point. That can vary. So I'm just doing a few more little beads. But you get the general gist. See how it sort of just softens it? Just a little bit. Start clustering things together and really makes it. That's my two and the neighbour's dog woofing, so that they must be leaving the street, so everyone's saying goodbye. Oh, goodness me. Oh, I got two on there. And it's a little close to that bud, so I might just take that back through and I'm going to put it out by itself because I think I'd like a little green stick going out to it. So I probably need to stop and do little green sticks and little this and little that's and okay. Now, I just need to make a decision now. What is going to happen with this? Couple options. We join in and away we go. So what line would we take to do that? Let me just bring my camera. I'm sort of tempted just to keep going. If we were to bring, it was coming, I had drawn it through here, but I stopped. So I would need to bring it through there now to get that connection to that stem. Or do I take it? No, it's got to come through there and it's got to bend to get there. Yeah, so let's draw that. And it's going to be quite a thick branch in order to get there, which brings me to my new favourite stem stitch, the Portuguese. Hope I do it justice. Portuguese stem stitch. Now it is in Jennifer's book. So it's a classic stem stitch, but there's a little twist, literally. So I'm just going to come up here. I hope I'm doing it right. I'm going to connect in down there. And then when you come up, you go under the stitch. So you get like this little bump. Now in the land of the plant, little bumps and joints where little stems might come out of are really interesting on a plant. So once again, we're doing our stem stitch, but we're going to do the little twist at the point of which the two needles pass each other. So see where my needle is and that stitch there. And then you bind them together with this little poker needle through business. And it just puts this little roll, looks like it's rolling. Okay, that's it. I hope you can see that. If you can't, Google it, YouTube it, Portuguese stem stitch. It's a little ripper. Just makes your stem stitch a little bit more interesting. Oops, I didn't catch that properly. There it is. Okay, let's start that again. So what I'll end up doing is I will work my way up into this new piece of fabric. I'll do combinations of what we've just shown you. Beads, sequins, ribbons. So when I get back, you'll see it completed in the next video, and then the last video, well, maybe, we'll be working over here on that. So see how it gives a nice thick stem? It sort of gives good old stem stitch just that little bit extra oomph. So where you come up, you just, before you head off and do your standard stitch again, you're just wrapping the needle around. It's very clever. There's so many variations you can do with the needlework. Have a play. You might just invent your own. So this will give it a nice heavy branch again, because it's quite whimsical as you get away from the main branch. So I'm thinking this will get me to this next area with some sort of feeling that there's structure to this unusual little plant. I'm using the head of my needle too because I don't want to catch that linen. If you're just working on quite a fine fabric, you may not need to do that, because you'll get through without picking up a thread from the actual fabric. Okay, so following my line. If you're really concerned that your plants get a little bit wayward, draw them first, make sure you're happy with them, and stick to your lines. It's when you don't stick to your lines, it's usually find that you're going off the track a bit and you start getting weird shapes to your branches. I'll have to at some point work out where this branch just breaks out and starts heading in different directions. Do we do it at the seam? Do we go past? I'm going to go past. I'm going to pretend that seam is not there. Did I do my wrap? Yes. I'm just going to go past maybe one more. Yep, like that. Now I want my branch to feel a little more whimsical, so I'm just going to go and do split running stitch, but no, split back stitch, where you, let's get my needle to where I need it. And now I'm just going to do the good old back stitch, but I'm going to split the stitch prior with my needle so you don't have that gappy hole that back stitch or running stitch can give you. See? Now I feel like I need some lines. If I go too crazy there, I'm going to lose my shape, and I want this maybe to be a little bit more of a tendril. Maybe the top of this goes very, I don't know. Best laid plans. Stitch is too big, need it smaller. I'm sort of losing the ability to do a turn if my stitch gets too big like that. probably enjoy playing with the stems and the leaves more than I do the flowers, because you can just do so much with the branch. So we're going to work our way around the bend now. There we go. Here we come. Around we go. Let's get a nice curve here. I'm going to run out of thread before I get my curve. Get my stitch a little bit smaller. Going to run out of thread. That's all right. It's all good. And it might be a case if I finish, yeah, I might actually, I'll finish the actual tendril off. Let's get finer with the single strand or even 2 strands of the embroidery floss, because we've chosen like colours. We could then slip into this guy. How many threads have I got there? I've got 3. Might just drop down to 2. Yeah. So really is just experimenting. It really is. Having a play. I think some white flowers would probably look rather cool on this. Don't know. So let's pick up where we were. See, all the walkers are gone and it goes quiet. There's that many puppy dogs at all the houses in our little cul-de-sac that sound the alarm from the main road into our little area, that you think, and here comes Fudge. My goodness, talk about a menagerie here. You'd think that the walkers would go, I'm not going down that street because there's too many puppy dogs that want to tell the next puppy dog that there's a puppy dog coming. Might leave it at that. I think any more and I'd probably start looking a little whimsical, but it's not a bad thing. So now you can do things. I've just brought my needle back up here. You can start exploring with second little bits and pieces coming off. Anyway, I think you've got the general gist of what I'm up to. Because you've got a thinner thread, you can really get quite detailed. But before I get too out of control, I need to stop, go back to where I was, back down in amongst all that work, and finish the area, because I'll end up getting myself confused. And I'll be up here and I haven't even finished down here, but at least we know we're on our way. We've got certainly some branches that can come off. So you just meander and play and meander and play. And that's before you even start putting in your flowers and things. Like, I think you get the general idea. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to just keep playing around here, and then I will work out what colour that is to be, and I'll stitch it on. This will certainly tell me that. And then when I come back in the next video, we'll do a little bit more of that classic crazy quilting style of stitches down that side, following those humps and bumps of that braid. All right, guys, look after yourselves, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now. Hello everyone. Hello. I'm still going at this. I just can't put it down. I started sort of looking at other colours and I thought, oh, I could do this and I could do that. It is so moorish and I can't stop doing these little roses. So the plan was just to, you know, go away and stitch, which I did, and now I'm sort of doing all sorts of things. So I thought I'd better come back and show you what I'm doing. I just found this beautiful piece of burgundy. It all started with those. Let me just show you what I've been up to. I found some little lavender beads. So this little twig got little berries onto it. Then I popped a few inside those little roses. Then you'll notice before I stitched up in here, I undid it. I just felt like I didn't need it. I think I want to try something else there. I don't know what yet, but I just backed it back and I unpicked it, and then I started popping these red little French colonial knots. Then I came over here and I thought, well, that looked plain, so I did some using the silk ribbon. I found a tiny little piece of silk ribbon and did these tiny little strokes, little stitches. Then I went digging and found a variegated one, and now I'm putting grub roses in. It is so addictive. I can't stop. The more I'm doing, the more I think of other things I want to do. So I thought I'd better come back and I'll show you. I think I'm nearly there, but I think now that I've taken that stem out of that other square, I sort of feel like this is contained. Does that make sense? So I'm just going to, I think, pop a few more of these little burgundy roses. I keep glancing to these colours up here and I see another colour, so I bring it into here. It's like I've got a palette there and I'm exploring it by just doing little random flowers. But I seem to be dancing around this one particular little rose and colonial knots. I don't think I'm really exploring much else. Have I got enough to get one more rose out of that? Because, gee, I'd like to. Let's have a go. Might be pushing it. Might be a tiny one. If I can just get... I'm being really stingy, aren't I? That's all right. I got a tiny itty-bitty one. Oh, love it. 2 different burgundy colours plus one's variegated. It's so pretty. Gosh, to think a couple months ago I was pretty skittish when it come to doing ribbon embroidery. But once you start and you start experimenting and you start just doing some stitches, like I'm not doing a major piece here. I'm just doing a little area, just experimenting, and it just gives you a little bit more confidence because you start to understand how these different threads and ribbons actually work and what look you get. And everyone's different in their hand in the way they stitch. So what I might do and what the next person does, the same stitch, it'll look completely different. So don't hold it against yourself when you go looking at these beautiful books and it just doesn't look like what you've just done, because you're not going to be able to copy it. Yeah, look, it's upside down, and I actually like how this looks like it's coming out of there. Isn't that interesting? Oh, I could just keep going. Like, where do you stop? I think I need to stop, but what I might do is I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to just sit and look at the piece and see if I need to bring anything else through here. I sort of like the fact there's a bit of air here and all the density is through this side, and then it's a bit whimsical. So maybe it's just a case of a few little more softer stitches in there, or just leave it, back away. I don't know. Who knows? I'm going to leave it for now. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'm going to do a few more little stitches. I think I am. Oh, goodness me. few more little green stitches in there. It just feels a little, I don't know, sparse. I'm just going to do a couple little random twiggy things just to soften that side a little bit. See, just that one stitch has helped. And then I might do another one here. Yep. Then I might end it. See, sometimes it's just a couple stitches. You guys mightn't be seeing what I'm seeing, so you're probably thinking I'm overthinking it, which I probably am. But I feel like I could even do something through there. I might do another feather stitch coming in. That one looks a little bit by itself. Yeah, that's what needed. Just to, it's these little stitches. Do I join it there? Yep. In at the point where that other one's come out. So it looks like a little twig. Then I might just do another little one there. So it's just softening it. That's better. I feel like I could do with something here, coming down there. That's better. Yep, that's it. You guys are probably thinking I'm overthinking it. I even think that this red could drift down a little bit. That's because I want to go and play with that ribbon again. That's because I'm being naughty and I don't want to stop. Now I've got a knot that's out of control. Good one. That's got it. Should I pick up that burgundy? I think I do. I think I will. Gosh, we're now really going over time, aren't we? Does it matter? Not really. You guys would have left by now if you weren't interested. Goodness me. I just feel like that burgundy is anchoring the whole piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do just a few more burgundy stitches. I'm going to I know what I'll do. I'm going to come up through here. Oh, there's the knot. See, once again, I didn't knot the bottom because I'm so focused on the stitch. All right, let's go. Let's do a couple more up here. I just feel like I could drift. It's like everything was looking reasonable, but as soon as the burgundy went in, that darker tone, I really felt like it started to come alive. You might disagree. You might have a different eye to me. We're all, nope, don't like that. We've all got a different way of viewing colours, which makes it very interesting, doesn't it? I'm going to go to the side a little bit because it landed pretty much on top of that colonial knot, so I would have lost the colonial knot. I think I've just fallen in love with this little rose. It's so simple. It is easier with the wider ribbon, mind you. I'm really testing my dexterity here, but be patient with it. Concertina up that ribbon and run it in. Yeah. Don't make him as big. Come back a little bit. Can be all different size little roses. It actually would make a nice little cluster, you know, 2 or 3 of these style of flowers on top of each other would even make a nice little piece. Oh, I like that. I'll put one out there. I promise after this piece of ribbon, that's it. I have to stop. Down here. Probably only get 2 more out of it. See what I mean by the more you add, the more interesting it gets. It's like the main branch is this plant with the burgundy, and all of those other branches are just coming from behind this bush. Well, that's my story anyway. That's the last one. Gosh, I wish I could get one more. Don't think I can. I might get a little one. Oh, I don't think I can. What I'll do is I will see if I can be sneaky. Weave my needle through. I only need a few little. This is probably so not the way to do it, but I just feel like I need one more little flower. And then that's it, I promise. I'm going to put down the needle. There we go. I love it. I love it. Gosh, I could do some more through there. Oh my goodness. All right, that's it. Enough. Enough, enough, enough. I will just put a few little invisible stitches on the back of that last little bit of burgundy. And that's not going to go anywhere. All right, guys. That's it. I promise. I am saying goodbye. I'm going to leave you all alone. I'm not going to pick up that ribbon. I bet I do. I bet I run some more of those roses through. I really feel like it's gelled the whole piece together. Oh, anyway, look, it just doesn't stop. Enough. All right, guys. There's a bit of a look at my little spray. Talk about the name suiting it. Crazy quilting, crazy stitching. Yeah, I feel like I could run that burgundy right through. Oh, anyway, I'm going to say goodbye. I will see you all in the next video. Bye again. See ya.